Have you ever felt that sleep changes in ways you never expected as the years go by? Maybe there was a time when you would close your eyes, drift off instantly, and wake up 8 hours later feeling refreshed. But now, you might find yourself lying awake, staring at the ceiling, hearing every tick of the clock, or waking at 4 in the morning without feeling rested, just wondering, why can't I sleep like before? What's happened? If you are over 70, or if you care deeply for someone in that age group, those restless nights could be more than just a small annoyance. They may be quietly affecting your heart, your memory, your mood, and even how long you live. In this video, we will take a closer look at the reality of sleep after 70. You will discover why it changes, what is considered normal, what might be a warning sign, and 5 surprising habits that could be making things worse without you realizing it. And stay with me until the end, because I will share a little-known sleep tip that you may wish you had discovered years ago, one that could transform your nights and help you live stronger, healthier, and possibly longer. Before we begin, I would truly appreciate your support. If you enjoy this video, please like it, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss any updates. And to let me know you're watching, if you like this video, comment the number 1. If you don't, comment 0, so I can make the next one even better for you. Let me share with you the touching and eye-opening story of Mr. Samuel Grant, a 73-year-old retired machinist whose life reflects decades of hard work, quiet perseverance, and an unshakable sense of responsibility. For more than 40 years, Samuel worked deep in the heart of bustling machine shops, his hands often stained with oil and metal dust, his focus sharpened by the hum of heavy equipment. He was the kind of craftsman who took genuine pride in restoring a failing motor or aligning a miscalibrated machine until it ran like new. There was satisfaction for him in every smooth rotation, every steady rhythm of a job well done. Even in retirement, Samuel's internal clock refuses to change. His alarm still rings at 5 o'clock every morning. Not out of necessity, but because the habit is carved into his very nature. He sleeps only about 5 hours a night and dismisses the idea that he needs more. There are no naps, no complaints, just the quiet confidence that his body is doing fine without extra rest. But last month, something unexpected happened that shook this belief to its core. On a crisp autumn morning, Samuel stepped into his beloved backyard garden, a sanctuary he had nurtured for decades with neat rows of beans, peppers, and bright marigolds. As he moved between the beds, his foot caught on a twisted garden hose. In a split second, he lost his balance and fell hard to the ground. The sharp crack of bone breaking echoed through the stillness, followed instantly by a wave of pain. His son, Daniel, who lives close by, heard the call for help and rushed over, heart racing, to find his father in agony. Moments later, Samuel was on his way to the emergency room, in the midst of urgent treatment for his fractured hip. One doctor turned to Daniel with a question that seemed unrelated at first. "How has your father been sleeping lately?" That question was more important than it seemed. Like many older adults, Samuel had never considered his short nights to be a problem. To him, 5 hours was plenty, even a badge of his endurance and ability to keep going. But what he didn't know, and what science now makes clear, is that long-term sleep deprivation quietly undermines the body in ways that take years to show. For people over 70, consistently sleeping less than the recommended 7 to 8 hours can reduce balance, slow reflexes, weaken muscles, and cloud memory, all factors that make falls far more likely. A 2018 study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that seniors who sleep fewer than 6 hours a night have a 30% higher risk of sustaining a fall-related injury compared to those who get enough rest. For Samuel, that garden hose was not the true cause of his accident. It was the years of sleep debt that had silently eroded his stability, leaving him more fragile than he ever realized. Decades of scientific research make it clear older adults still require 7 to 8 hours of restorative, high-quality sleep each night to protect physical health, keep the mind sharp, and maintain emotional stability. Falling short on sleep, whether by personal choice, as Samuel Grant did, or because of outside influences, sets off a chain reaction of health problems that can quietly erode quality of life. A 2020 meta-analysis published in Sleep Medicine Reviews found that chronic sleep deprivation in seniors is tied to a 40% higher risk of heart disease, a 25% greater likelihood of memory decline, and increased rates of depression and anxiety. Even more concerning, regularly sleeping too little is associated with a higher risk of premature death. On the other hand, consistently oversleeping more than 9 hours each night also poses dangers such as increased risks of type 2 diabetes, obesity, and cognitive decline. The goal is balance, yet for many older adults, achieving that balance is complicated by biological changes and lifestyle patterns that disrupt healthy sleep. One stubborn myth claims that aging reduces the need for sleep. In reality, the need for deep, restorative rest does not change with age, but the body's ability to achieve it often does. As we grow older, the natural production of melatonin, the hormone that regulates the sleep-wake cycle, decreases. This makes it more challenging to fall asleep and stay asleep through the night. Circadian rhythms, the body's internal clock, also shift earlier, leading many seniors to feel drowsy in the early evening and to wake before sunrise. Other factors, like chronic pain from arthritis, medication side effects, or reduced exposure to natural daylight, can further fragment rest. For Samuel, these issues likely accumulated over years, turning his pattern of 5-hour nights into a slow but steady drain on his strength, coordination, and balance until the day in his garden, when a simple misstep revealed just how much his body had been affected. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons helpful, please comment the number 1 below so I know you're here with me. Thank you for spending your valuable time with me. So, how can we begin to tackle this often overlooked problem of sleep deprivation in older adults? One practical first step is to build awareness by tracking sleep patterns for an entire week. Keep a detailed record that notes the time you go to bed, how often you wake during the night, how long it takes to fall back asleep, and how you feel when you wake in the morning. If you notice grogginess, lapses in memory, or a constant lack of energy, these could be signs your body is craving better quality rest. For caregivers, encouraging a loved one to log their sleep or observing their habits closely can be invaluable. After Samuel's fall, his son Daniel began keeping a sleep diary for him. He quickly discovered that Samuel was waking 3 or 4 times each night to use the bathroom, a clear sign that his sleep was being disrupted. This kind of insight matters because sleep is not simply about hours spent in bed, it's about the vital work your body and mind do during that time. Recognizing patterns and addressing interruptions can help restore the true, healing power of rest. Now, let's shift to another revealing story that highlights a different but equally crucial aspect of sleep, its quality. Meet Margaret Lewis, a 76-year-old retired literature professor whose kindness, quick wit, and generous heart have earned her deep affection within her neighborhood. Margaret is the type of person who never forgets a special date, crafts homemade peach cobblers from a treasured family recipe, and always keeps a pot of tea ready for friends who might drop by unexpectedly. Her daily routine runs with precision. She heads to bed at 10 o'clock each night and wakes at 6 in the morning, consistently recording 8 hours of rest. On the surface, her sleep habits appear flawless. Yet in recent months, Margaret has noticed subtle but persistent changes in her well-being. She often wakes up feeling clouded with fatigue. Her once reliable memory seems less steady, and an unusual edge of irritability has begun to show in her conversations. Her son, David, gently attributes these changes to the natural process of aging, reassuring her, "It's just part of getting older, Mom." But Margaret's instincts tell her otherwise, that something more specific is disrupting her rest. And she's right. The issue lies not in how many hours she sleeps, but in the quality of that sleep, particularly the lack of deep, restorative slow-wave sleep. This stage, most prominent in the early part of the night, is when the brain consolidates memories, processes emotions, and strengthens neural connections. The body also uses this time to repair tissues, bolster the immune system, and regulate hormones. However, studies show that after the age of 70, time spent in slow-wave sleep naturally declines by up to 40%. For Margaret, her 8 hours in bed are frequently disturbed by restlessness, shifting to ease hip discomfort, waking abruptly from vivid dreams, or lying awake, unable to drift back into slumber. These interruptions rob her brain and body of the full benefits of deep sleep, leaving her mentally foggy, physically tired, and at greater risk for serious conditions such as dementia, type 2 diabetes, and high blood pressure. Many older adults, like Margaret, mistakenly believe that being in bed for 8 hours guarantees proper rest. But not all sleep is equal. Frequent awakenings, tossing and turning, or feeling excessively sleepy during the day can signal that deep, restorative rest is being disrupted. Fortunately, the causes of poor sleep quality can often be addressed. Late-night exposure to blue light from phones, tablets, or TVs reduces melatonin production, while irregular bedtimes disturb the body's internal clock. An uncomfortable sleep environment, too hot, noisy, or bright can also fragment sleep. Margaret made small but powerful changes, replacing late-night television with guided meditation, dimming the lights an hour before bed, and keeping her bedroom cool and dark. The results were remarkable. She began waking refreshed, with a sharper mind and a lighter mood. Quality sleep, she learned, is about ensuring every hour truly restores body and mind. The experiences of Samuel Grant and Margaret Lewis reveal a truth that applies to us all. Sleep is a foundation of lasting health, especially in later years. By valuing both the amount and the quality of rest through awareness, consistent habits, and small adjustments to the sleep environment, older adults can restore the true benefits of sleep, lowering health risks and improving daily life. It may mean tracking your sleep to find hidden problems, or building a calming bedtime routine. For Samuel, a fall was the warning. For Margaret, it was persistent fatigue. The message is simple and powerful: when you sleep well, you give yourself the strength and clarity to live well. Meet Martin Caldwell, a 79-year-old retired railway worker whose life was once defined by the steady rhythm of clattering train tracks and early morning shifts. For more than 3 decades, Martin's days began before sunrise. His body accustomed to long hours on his feet and the constant motion of a job that demanded stamina and focus. Now, years into retirement, his pace has slowed, his stride measured, yet his days have taken on a new and troubling routine: frequent, extended naps. Nearly every day, Martin drifts off 3 times, once in the late morning, again shortly after lunch, and occasionally in the early evening before dinner. When his son Andrew asks why, Martin simply explains, "I just don't sleep well at night, so I make up for it during the day." To him, rest seemed like rest, no matter when it happened. But Andrew began noticing unsettling changes: missed appointments, misplaced reading glasses, and moments when Martin struggled to recall familiar names. At first, Andrew assumed these lapses were just part of getting older. But during a checkup, Martin's doctor pointed to his long daytime naps as a likely contributor. Scientific research supports this concern. Napping for more than 90 minutes, or sleeping too late in the day can interfere with the body's circadian rhythm, the internal clock that governs sleep and wake cycles. A 2020 study published in Alzheimer's and Dementia revealed that older adults who nap more than an hour each day are up to 50% more likely to develop cognitive decline, including memory issues and reduced concentration. For Martin, these lengthy naps were disrupting his nighttime sleep cycles, preventing his brain from spending enough time in deep restorative stages, like slow-wave and REM sleep phases essential for memory retention. Emotional stability and physical repair. The result was a vicious loop. Restless nights led to fatigue. Fatigue led to longer naps, and those naps further disrupted his sleep at night. It's important to note that naps themselves are not the enemy. Short, intentional naps around 20 to 30 minutes taken in the early afternoon, ideally between 1 and 3 o'clock, can improve mood, sharpen thinking, and restore energy without harming nighttime rest. This type of power nap aligns with the body's natural dip in alertness and allows for recovery without entering deep sleep stages that suppress the drive to sleep later. The key is in timing and moderation. Long or late naps can lower the body's natural pressure to sleep at night, making it harder to fall and stay asleep. Martin's habit of multiple, extended naps had thrown his sleep architecture into disarray. Further evaluation revealed another hidden factor: mild obstructive sleep apnea, a condition affecting roughly 30% of older adults. This disorder, marked by pauses in breathing during sleep, often accompanied by loud snoring or gasping, fragments rest and leaves people tired during the day. With a CPAP machine prescribed to keep his airways open, plus new nap guidelines no more than 20 minutes, and never after 2 p.m., Martin's sleep began to transform. Within weeks, he felt more refreshed in the mornings. His need for naps dropped to just one short session, and his memory lapses became far less frequent. For anyone relying heavily on naps, it's worth exploring whether an underlying issue such as sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome, or poor sleep hygiene is to blame. Identifying and addressing the root cause can restore not only better sleep but also sharper thinking and greater vitality. Clara Jennings, an 82-year-old retired school teacher, once found comfort in the rhythm of her daily routine. For decades, her evenings followed the same gentle pattern: dinner around 6, a crossword or a favorite mystery novel, then bedtime at 10 o'clock sharp. Each morning she awoke at 6, feeling clear-headed and ready to face the day. But over the last year, something shifted. Clara began growing drowsy before 7 in the evening, falling asleep by 8, and waking around 4 in the morning long before sunrise. Although she still logged close to 8 hours in bed, she felt sluggish, irritable, and frustrated throughout the day. Her doctor explained that she was experiencing advanced sleep phase syndrome, a circadian rhythm disorder common in older adults. The body's internal 24-hour clock is guided by cues like daylight and the release of hormones such as melatonin. As people age, melatonin levels naturally decline, and reduced exposure to natural light, especially for those who spend more time indoors, weakens the brain's ability to keep the sleep-wake cycle aligned. Research published in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience in 2022 found that nearly 40% of people over 70 experience some degree of circadian misalignment. For Clara, this meant her sleep schedule no longer matched her lifestyle. Waking up at 4 left her staring at the ceiling for hours in darkness, which heightened feelings of anxiety and disrupted emotional balance. Her doctor suggested that resetting her circadian rhythm would require deliberate changes, with light exposure being the most powerful tool. Each morning, Clara began spending 20 minutes outdoors within 2 hours of waking, letting natural light reach her eyes without sunglasses. This morning light signaled her brain to stay alert longer, gently delaying her evening sleepiness. In the evenings, she reduced exposure to blue light from television and phone screens, switched to warm-tone lamps, and dimmed her home's lighting after 7 to mimic the fading daylight. Within weeks, Clara noticed improvement. Her bedtime shifted to around 9:30, and she began waking closer to 5:30. The extra morning rest left her feeling sharper and more energetic. Her doctor also discussed melatonin supplements, noting that while they can help, they must be used with precision, typically very low doses, taken an hour or two before the desired bedtime. Taking too much, or at the wrong time, can worsen sleep timing and cause daytime grogginess. Clara chose to focus on lifestyle adjustments rather than supplements, proving that small, consistent habits, especially those that work with the body's natural rhythms, can lead to lasting improvements in energy, mood, and overall quality of life. Let's turn to the experience of Linda Carter, a 78-year-old widow who takes her health very seriously. She never skips a checkup, organizes her prescriptions neatly in a weekly pill organizer, and follows her physician's directions without fail. After a minor heart incident last year, her doctor prescribed a beta blocker to help regulate her blood pressure and safeguard her heart. Linda began taking the medication each evening, but before long, unsettling symptoms appeared. She would wake in the middle of the night, sweating, her heart pounding, and then struggle to drift back to sleep. By morning, she felt lightheaded, anxious, and completely worn out. At first, she assumed these changes were just part of aging, but the real cause lay in her medications, quietly undermining her rest. Many older adults face similar issues. Certain drugs, such as beta blockers, can lower melatonin production, making it more difficult to fall or stay asleep. Diuretics, often prescribed for heart or blood pressure problems, lead to frequent nighttime trips to the bathroom. Some antidepressants, pain medications, and even allergy pills can disrupt REM sleep, which is vital for memory and emotional balance. When multiple prescriptions are taken together, their combined effects can worsen sleep disturbances. In Linda's case, the melatonin-reducing beta blocker and the diuretics nocturia created a cycle of broken sleep and daytime fatigue. Her doctor's solution was not to stop the medications, but to adjust their timing, taking the beta blocker in the morning and the diuretic earlier in the day. Within a week, Linda's nighttime awakenings dropped dramatically, and her mornings became calmer and more energized. For seniors, reviewing medication, timing, and options with a healthcare professional can make all the difference, improving sleep without sacrificing health. The experiences of Samuel Grant, Margaret Lewis, Martin Caldwell, Clara Jennings, and Linda Carter weave a rich tapestry of challenges and solutions, each revealing an important truth. Sleep troubles in older adults are not simply an unavoidable part of aging. They are often signs of underlying issues that, with awareness and the right actions, can be improved or even resolved. Samuel's story shows the toll of chronic sleep deprivation fatigue that steals physical strength and mental clarity. Margaret endured nights of broken, restless sleep that left her exhausted and unfocused during the day. Martin struggled with long, frequent naps that disrupted his natural rhythm and left him awake at odd hours. Clara's internal clock shifted earlier and earlier, pulling her out of sync with the world around her. Linda discovered that some of her prescribed medications, though vital for her health, were quietly undermining her ability to rest. Each case highlights how disrupted sleep can affect health, safety, and overall quality of life. Yet, in every challenge lies an opportunity for positive change. Sleep is more than rest. It is a vital form of nightly restoration that repairs the body, sharpens the mind, and lifts the spirit. For older adults, achieving 7 to 8 hours of deep, restorative rest can mean the difference between just getting through the day and living with energy, clarity, and joy. Science is clear, consistent. High-quality sleep reduces the risk of falls, heart disease, memory loss, and depression, while improving balance, focus, and mood. Change begins with awareness. Tonight, take 5 minutes to reflect on your own sleep or that of a loved one. Did you feel energized or drained today? How long did you sleep? Did you wake often or find yourself napping too much? Keep a simple sleep journal for a week to notice patterns. If you're a caregiver, ask gentle, curious questions. Do you feel rested in the morning? How many times do you wake during the night? These conversations can reveal hidden issues and spark solutions. Small, deliberate steps can create lasting improvements. For Samuel and Margaret, this means aiming for 7 to 8 hours in a cool, dark, quiet bedroom and winding down with calming activities before bed. No screens or stimulating tasks in that last hour. For Martin, limiting naps to 20 or 30 minutes before mid-afternoon helps protect nighttime rest. Clara benefits from spending 15 to 30 minutes in morning sunlight to anchor her internal clock and dimming lights in the evening to encourage melatonin production. For Linda, reviewing her medications with her doctor and adjusting the timing reduce nighttime disturbances without affecting treatment. Sleep is not a luxury, it is the body's reset button, the brain's repair crew, and the spirit's recharge. By identifying and addressing sleep disruptors, older adults can reclaim rest as a cornerstone of healthy aging, ensuring their later years are not merely endured, but truly lived with vitality, strength, and joy. Start tonight by making restful sleep the cornerstone of your well-being. This journey we've taken together is more than just a lesson in bedtime habits. It's a guide to reclaiming energy, clarity, and joy in your later years. We've uncovered why 7 to 8 hours of restorative rest is essential, and how hidden disruptors like long naps, certain medications, and shifting body rhythms can quietly drain your vitality. You've learned how the lack of deep sleep impacts your health, how misaligned circadian rhythms can throw off your days, and how the pills in your cabinet might be affecting your nights. But this isn't only about sleep, it's about living your golden years with strength, confidence, and purpose. So, what resonated with you most today? Was it the power of morning sunlight, the value of a consistent evening routine, or the importance of talking to your doctor about medication timing? Take one insight and make it your action step starting tonight. I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective can inspire and guide someone else on their own path to better rest. If you enjoyed this conversation, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more practical wisdom to help you stay healthy, strong, and full of life. Sleep deeply tonight, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video.